So I think to I feel like to attack Al-Shaair's character, kind of like how they did there, where they were saying, I don't know, in that big spiel that they had, they were saying how he like disrespected the game, his actions like is not about what the foot was, is not about what the NFL is about, and things like that. I thought that was a little too far, right? I mean, if you think about just, I don't know, like the coach of the Texans or the GM of the Texans was I think Nick Casario was just talking about you know Al-Shaair was like doing some I think charity work like the morning of or something. He was like it's I just feel like to go from, and if you look at his fines, his previous fines, they were just like 10K, 10K, 11K, and it was like face masks, something like just one of those, and then to have a hit like this, which again for me like I thought it was not a good hit. And it wasn't, you know, it to me it wasn't a good hit because of the fact that I thought he really was going for the head. I mean, maybe I'm alone in that because I don't really hear people talking about that as much. So I'm probably wrong there that it was a head thing. But like, I just didn't like how he was really going for Trevor Lawrence's head with his forearm. Like he was going in like that. It wasn't more of like he wasn't trying to tackle me with whatever. Because if he didn't know Trevor was going down and sliding and taking himself out of the play, then he's a runner, right? And I'll get into that in a second. But like, he's a runner. He's just a runner. So if you're just a runner, you're going to tackle him, right? And I think that when he was trying to go like barrel in like that, like dive head first to him, or at least arm first and attack his head, I don't know how you're not trying to hurt the dude by doing that, but at the same time, it's like it's so hard. Like I don't really want to. I don't want to jump on the bandwagon of just saying that, oh, Al-Shaair is a terrible player and this is his character. It's not. Like, I don't think that that's like, it's so much of a, I guess, gray area than that. And I hate to be like waffling on, what side I'm on it, whatever. I do think it's a hard thing to judge. I will say this, like, so I didn't like the hit. I didn't think it was good. I think he could have, he could have went, he could have stopped Trevor Lawrence in a different way. And I guess, people will say he slid late. And personally, I kind of thought Al-Shaair had time to pull up a little bit in terms of just how hard he really went at him. But the other side of all this is this too, is that like if you're a quarterback, and I mentioned a while ago and a second ago, and even Brady talked about it on Colin Cowherd's show, like Brady got hit in like 2001, he said, I think, against the Bills, and it was Nate Clemens, I think it was. And Brady got hit hard. His helmet flew, all that stuff. Big learning lesson for him. Like when you're running and you decide to step out that pocket and run, you're a runner. And in the NFL, them boys don't play, right? Like you are going to get your bell rung if you don't watch out, right? And I mean, again, I grew up playing hockey. I've seen it, not even at a professional level, but I'm playing junior and playing college. Like you see guys get drilled in front of you. I was the goalie, and you would see guys skate with their head down and just get absolutely just murdered with a hit, and it's a lot, right? It's a lot to see. You got to keep your head up, and that's, I mean, again, I've never played football at the same competitive level I played with hockey, but you look at like how hard it is for a defense and for defensive players now at the NFL at the highest level, fastest game, fastest version of the game in the whole world, right? Like I don't know if you could put the onus of protecting the quarterback again on the defense, right? And that's what Tom Brady said, and I think that's, you have guys like Aaron Rodgers who they're old school guys, but they look at the game from a perspective of like you can't keep coddling the offense and the quarterbacks and allowing for these, I guess, dangerous plays to happen and then punish the defense just because the offense puts themselves in a difficult spot, right? Just like throwing passes down the middle when you had Ray Lewis coming in, like your receiver is going to get destroyed. So I think this is one of those plays too where it's like if Trevor's going to run, he can run. I mean, Lamar runs, Josh Allen runs, and like Drake May runs, right? Like it's a thing now with quarterbacks of that run. Kyler Murray, not a big dude, he runs, right? Everyone has a run game to them for the most part. And if you're going to do that, you better be prepared that you've got, you know, absolute machines like Al-Shaair there on the other side, ready to take your head off if you aren't careful about it all. And so I think that's tough. Honestly, I think a 3-game suspension, too much. Honestly, like I didn't like the hit. I didn't like the forearm, but 3 games and the way they phrased it, the way they went about it, the way they I think they talked down. I mean, I felt like they talked down about his character. I didn't think that was needed. Honestly, like you didn't need to. I don't know, really tear down a man like that, who was just trying to make a play. And I guess, if you want to look at intent, it is what it is. Like, Shair's going to say what, it was never his intention to really hurt him. Other people may look at it differently. Personally, I don't know if he was trying to take his head off. I think if you look at the game prior to that point, I don't know if there's any indication that there was any bad blood. Maybe I'm wrong. I was trying to watch multiple games, but I didn't think there was any intent, like, prior to that play, that he was trying to take Trevor Lawrence's head off. And of course, after the play, you're going to get, a fight, and you're going to get tensions, and everyone's going to be all worked up. That's going to happen. But it's a tough thing. I think on one hand, again, I think the hit should change, and the way he went about trying to hit Trevor Lawrence should change. And, it didn't look good when Trevor Lawrence went down. He went into that fencing position, which is just not good to see at all. You never like to see that. But at the same time, you got to be careful with just constantly pointing the finger at the defense and penalizing the defense when, offensive players, a quarterback or whoever, you're in a position where, like, you can get hurt, and you got to go down early, right? Especially for Trevor Lawrence, you got a shoulder injury. It's like, I know there's that, like, football player, that dog mentality in you. You got to go and fight through it, or you got to still be that tough guy. But, like, that's just all around rough play. I don't know. It's hard. I didn't like the hit, but I thought 3 games was a little too much.